Hello and welcome to Billy Ho Sports. As promised, Derby Week. We've been rolling out the content. Today we're examining the Phillies. This Friday is Kentucky Oaks Day, competing for the Lilies. I do have a separate playlist for the Oaks videos, and I didn't get around to making as many as I wanted to, but there are some previews on some of the previous prep races. So if you want to take a look at those, have at it. Also, the Kentucky Derby playlist, obviously, the videos are loaded up there, waiting for you to peruse at your own convenience. So we're going to get right into things. As always, please subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, leave me a comment, and let's do it. Last Saturday night was the unveiling of the $200 million paddock post-position draw for Oaks and Derby. The pill pool horses were one pill, one sheet, same way the Kentucky Derby was. We're going to go through the 14 entries. We're going to actually look at the past performances, and we're going to take a look at some preps, breaks, starting gate, all that kind of good stuff. After all is said and done, we are going to get these 14 entries. There are two also eligibles in case of scratches, but I'm not really going to cover those. I will mention one briefly. Stick around because we are going to have some selections at the end of the video. I actually did narrow it down. I didn't think I'd get there, but I think I might have a pretty decent lineup of some exotics. So post number one goes to Tap It Gently, trained by Eddie Milligan. Manny Esquivel will ride. Third place finish in the grade 3 fantasy at Oaklawn. That was her recent prep. She got off slow, got caught wide throughout. Wasn't a real good race. Got the show. Not too bad, but not much of a factor. She hasn't been much of a factor, and I don't think has the speed, so I'll likely pass there. Post number 2 is Jin Jin. That's Brad Cox's other ridden by Florent Giroux. Flojo been aboard two of Brad Cox's recent Oaks winners, most notably Monomoy Girl a few years ago. She did break her maiden at Churchill Downs back in the fall, but her grade 3 Gazelle Stakes at Aqueduct, she was a very distant third. I would say she moves up on an off track, and just real quick weather-wise, there are chances of storms Friday and Saturday, 50-50, isolated kind of things. Keep an eye out on that. This time of the year, it's very humid. It's getting warmer. These things can pop up Wednesday night into Thursday out of nowhere. So you never know. So we will, you need to plan accordingly for either an off track or a fast track. Churchill Downs surface dries out super fast. We got a ton of rain last night, and it was actually dried out to be good this morning when and it'll be fast by this afternoon when they're running the races here in about an hour or so. So post 3, Where's My Ring? Val Brinkerhoff is the trainer. Jose Lescano ran a monster 104 Brisnet speed figure in this win in the Gazelle, and she looked really sassy going around the turn, pressing the leaders. And then they hit the turn for home. She responded in a big way. You could see Jose give the old crop twirl like he was just hit a flush iron shot into about 1 foot from the pin on a par 3. He gave her some urging down the stretch, and she sealed the deal. Actually, that was her maiden win, which is crazy. So I'm kind of skeptical about a repeat performance of such a monster race. It's hard to back those things up. So cautiously optimistic. Post number 4, Regulatory Risk. That's Chad Brown. Jose Ortiz will ride. Strong second to the previous we just discussed in the Gazelle. Got a 99 Brisnet number. Brown is still seeking that elusive first Oaks win. He had a close second. Search results, I think, back in 2021. He entered her after seeing how well she worked after the Gazelle. He wasn't sure how she'd come out of that race. Always improving. She has a shot to claim a tick, but we'll see if she makes the betting pool or not. Post number 5, Torpedo Anna, trained by Kenny McPeak, ridden by Brian Hernandez, dominated the grade 2 fantasy, taking over into the turn. Very little urging. Hernandez really didn't even get the crop out till she was into the stretch and clear. He just wanted to keep her alert. You know, you don't want your horses getting lazy down the stretch. They get caught slipping in the last few hundred yards. So she looked confident and in control. Oaks winning type of effort, the way she showed that. So I think that's where speed figures can be deceiving because she only got a 91 for that race. But when you have things in hand like that the whole time, so it's like Muth and the previous at the his Arkansas Derby, you know, things of that nature. They don't always get that speed figure because they're not battling anybody down the stretch to get the late pace. So anyway, she's going to be one of the top choices, obviously. Post 6 is Lemon Muffin, and that's Dwayne Lucas, the coach. Keith Asmussen will ride. And she came back down to earth after that monster effort in the Honeybee, stunning the crowd at 28-1. She finished 7th in the fantasy, beaten 10 links. The old coach crashed the party in 2022 with Secret Oath, but not seeing another one here, so I'll probably pass on that one. Post 7, Fiona's Magic. That's Michael Yates' trainer, Luis Saez aboard. And speaking of Secret Oath, Luis Saez was actually the jockey on Secret Oath for that win. But she fell flat in her Gulfstream Park Oaks after winning the previous stakes race. She prompted the pace and held on for about till the 1 minute mark, and then she just completely ran out of gas and gave way. So that was there's going to be an extra 16th of a mile in this one. I'm passing on her. Post 8, Tarifa. This is Brad Cox's top choice. Flavian Pratt will ride, the Fairgrounds Oaks winner. Very nice stalking trip. Hit that turn vying for the lead and took over in the stretch and was able to hold off our pretty woman, who's an also eligible, held her off to get the win. So the other thing of note is the previous before that at Fairgrounds, the Rachel Alexandria was in a sloppy track. So if we do have an off track, Tarifa proved that she likes that surface too, because she looked really good in that race. She was running hard down the stretch, splashing away there. So Brisnett didn't give her any love on the speed figures either. So she definitely is a big contender either way, off track or on. So be on the lookout for her. Post number 9 is Everland. That's trained by Eric Foster. Abel Cedillo will ride. She won the Bourbonnette Oaks over Winnable. Winnable went out and won her next. But I think making the switch from the synthetic to the dirt lacks the graded stakes experience here, so I'll probably pass. Another one I'll probably pass on is number 10, Into Champagne. That is trained by Ian Wilkes and ridden by Julian Leperoux. Also third in the Gulfstream Park Oaks, but that was Ways and Means. We'll get into those later. And Power Squeeze were the only two. She was just way back in third. So poor speed, poor trainer record, pass. Now Ways and Means, that is Chad Brown, trained, ridden by last year's winning jockey, Tyler Gaffalione. She really had a tough break from the gate. She was pinballed around right there entering the first turn, but she managed to gather herself throughout the race and then had actually in the lead in the stretch and looked to have the race in hand, but Power Squeeze, powered by on the outside to get the victory. And if you go back and look at the race and that Jose Ortiz, the jockey, I don't know if the connections told him it didn't matter. We don't want to press her first off the layoff or anything, but he wasn't really giving her much urging at all. And he's looking back. He sees Power Squeeze coming, and maybe he just thought, well, it's too late now, because he didn't even really get after her when he looked back and saw the horse. So I'm not really sure. I figure it was like the first off the layoff. They didn't want to push her too hard. So she's eligible to improve. setting up probably for a pretty big effort in her next race. So I'll be maybe eyeballing the tote board. A lot of people like this horse, so I don't think you're going to get away with like more than 4-1 odds, maybe 9-2 at best. Uh, but we'll see. Speaking of power squeeze, post 12, that is trained by Jorge Delgado, Daniel Centeno. I probably pronounced that wrong. I apologize. But the Rodney Dangerfield of fillies here, just no respect. I mean, she's only got 4 straight wins and 3 of them as a 3-year-old. She's undefeated as a 3-year-old. The dramatic close to blow right by Ways and Means in the stretch. And now maybe Ways and Means where it wasn't really, being urged on too much, but nothing wrong with that. Fast closing speed. And not only that, her previous race over at Tampa Bay Downs in the Suncoast Stakes, she won in a similar fashion, but instead from the outside, she took the inside rail and blew right by the rival there and showed a lot of closing speed at Tampa Bay Downs. So 12-1 morning line odds are a definite value play in my book. So she's definitely a use underneath. I actually was really considering a win bet on her, and it might be good. You get that old money back special and you got 12-1, you get that $10 on her. So that doesn't sound like a bad value play to me. So I will be considering that option. Now we get to the one I want. Post 13 is just FYI, trained by Bill Mott, daughter of Justify, the Triple Crown winner. Bill Mott and Junior Alvarado hook up. 2-year-old champion filly, ran second in her last prep at Keeneland. Hair bit disappointing, but it was her first off a 5-month layoff. Lost to Leslie's Rose, but she did manage to. She didn't really have a great break either. Behind horses early, got shuffled back, which is not really her style. She's more like gets out front, like she did in the juvenile fillies. So unable to catch up to the winner in the end. Eligible to improve. I think she's poised for a huge bounce back. That was a 5-month layoff. So really, really high on just FYI. It kind of sounds like just FYI, justify, get it. So anyway, finally rounding it out, post 14, Leslie's Rose. That is trained by Todd Pletcher, ridden by Irad Ortiz. She earned a 98 speed figure by Brisnet for her Ashland win. Really good trip, clean trip inside, then was able to split horses to get clear. So sometimes when horses do that, it's hard to repeat a good trip race like that. Coming from way outside in post 14, pretty mischievous, did that last year. But I'm not so sure about this one. So let's, before we get into the final picks, let's take a look at the past performances. So if you take a look up here at the top, you can see the speed, the prime power, and class rating, best speed. Where's My Ring is going to be way up here with that 104, obviously. Just ducking down here real quick, I wanted to show you something. This is the track bias stats for 9 furlongs. They did run 12 races over the fall meet. So it was pretty early pressing speed favoring and also closers. But if you look here, you can see, look at all the early pressing speed. That's just most of this race. Everland is one of your sole closers. I'll get to that interesting tidbit about Candied. If she does draw in, that's going to add a new dynamic to the race for sure. But it is showing Where's My Ring, which is obvious because of that last race that he's going to be put up there. Best play pace right here. That's obvious for the one race, but I'm not reading all that into it. So anyway, like Tap It Gently. Whenever you have all this over here, I tend to shy away from it, so I skip past that. Jin I did find a little bit interesting because she is a stalker who can close and has just been kind of working her way forward. You can see the Gazelle. She just was way too far back to get there. It wasn't Where's My Ring was just way too good that day. So she was just left in the dust. But she's got a couple of 90 speed figures, the win at Aqueduct, and she has had experience at Churchill. she did break her maiden at Churchill. That would be just like a kind of a bomb underneath play. It would be a really shocker if that horse were to win. I'm sure she's going to be way above 30-1. There's Where's My Ring. Obviously, the big 104 number here. 18% shipper. Lots of good to say over here. Sharp workout. She's a definite possibility. So anyway, I'm really kind of got this down to about 5 or 6 fillies. I mentioned Regulatory Risk, 99 in that Gazelle, nice second place for Chad Brown. Blinkers are off. Equipment change, that's of note. Torpedo Anna. I'm not doing too good with the grandmother theme. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, and I really can't remember. I know the horse had Kathleen in the name. Kathleen was one of my grandmothers. She passed away years ago, and my other grandmother passed away also pretty far back. Was named Anna, and she was a fast Anna. I mean, that lady was crazy. So I thought Torpedo Anna. That sounds like when I first saw her win this fantasy. I said I'm going to be on that for the Oaks. But after looking at the rest of the horses, it's really hard. I'll probably put a small wager on Torpedo Anna just for sentimental value, but not to say that she won't be in the exotics. Very good horse. I mean, I like the horses that win races, but she does just have the one fantasy win, but she's got the second at Churchill in the Goldenrod, so that's solid. Lemon Muffin, like I said, just the down to earth, not too bad in the maiden claiming ranks, but she breaks. I mean, horses that break their maidens in these stakes races, I just obviously hard to repeat. Seventh, so that just lets you know about the Gazelle winner that I previously spoke of. Fiona's Magic we're passing on. Tarifa, obviously, the low speed figures, and she looks so good in that Oaks and Rachel Alexandria. The 90 and 89 is not really I'm not digging that too much. Bernardini, the sire, that's of note. Bernardini dominated the 2006 Derby Trail, or not the Derby itself, but like the summer stakes, I guess, for 3-year-olds. Everland, we're passing on, obviously, that too in the Champagne. Here's Ways and Means. Seems logical for a big race in her second start of this year, coming off the layoff. She like we already discussed, Power Squeeze ran by her in that one. But Power Squeeze, I mean, what's wrong with this? I mean, nothing but steady improvements. And then the first off the layoff wins, right, and that's just a short layoff. But sharp workout. Jorge Delgado is a solid trainer. So, you know, Centeno going to get after it. Third time riding her. He's undefeated in 2. So this is just FYI. And, you know, I think what has convinced me, and I'll show it to you here in just a second as we finish this out. Leslie's Rose. Obviously the good win there, but look, I just the one Ashland win. She really didn't impress very much leading up. The third place at Gulfstream, beat by 2 rivals. So Our Pretty Women is the first AE. I'm not digging too much on that one at all. But if you do get 2 that scratch out, which is possible, this horse right here, Candied, is going to be interesting as a closer. Didn't get there in the Ashland, obviously, or the BC Juvenile, but did win that Keeneland race, grade 1, back in the fall. So that's your past performances. So now let's get into the rest of what we're thinking here. And so what led me to believe FYI is going to win this race is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. She broke from the similar outside position. She was like number 12. She'll be number 13. And she shot across to the lead in the first turn, kept her foot on the gas, run a blistering 22-2 opening quarter, 46-3 half, a 110-4 3/4. And then the fact that she was able to hold on down the stretch suggests she can get it done here at just a tick slower pace, a 23, a 47, and then a 112 or even a 111 and change, even if it's a little faster. I also erred on the side of pedigree as her sire Justify. Well, was awesome. And, upsets do happen in the Oaks. We all get that. But if I thought about singling her on top, then you'd have my other contenders, which you can see in the background, 5 or 6 others to hit the trifecta. But that's pretty risky because, like I said, upsets happen. Power Squeeze, I'm really high on, has that late speed from off the pace to steal it. Torpedo Anna, Ways and Means. This is a loaded field. And like I said, if 2 scratches happen, Candied gets in, it's going to add a whole new dynamic. So, because she is a straight legit closer and a good one. So there you have it, 2024 Kentucky Oaks preview and picks. Hope you enjoyed and also benefited from all the Derby content and today's show. Hopefully 1 or 2 more final videos before we get to the weekend. Best of luck this week, and we'll see you soon.